So yours is such an interesting story. I know you've told it a couple of times at this point, but I was talking to Kirby, and he was just talking about, this is one that really fell in our lap. They're so sophisticated with evaluation and all that kind of stuff. But tell me again, what made you focus on Georgia? How did you end up here specifically as opposed to somewhere else?
Yeah, so I knew the last special teams analyst pretty well, Villano. So that's how I kind of started to get into contact with them. I reached out to schools after my last game, which was before Thanksgiving. Ivy League season ends really early. So I was able to reach out to schools, and I was fortunate enough to come to the Georgia Tech game here. I went to a couple other schools, a couple other games, and I really liked it here the most, and I had a good relationship with the coaches, so that's kind of where I ended up.
You can never be sure, though, right? I mean, until you showed up and played,
right,
as to how it would translate. Right. So it's gone pretty well so far.
It's gone well
what
so
about
far,
now?
that's right.
Yeah.
But coming in, I just wanted an opportunity to get a chance. That's all you can ask for as a graduate student. But I had to really make a calculated decision. I've got 1 year, and I want to play at the next level, so I think I had to weigh those things appropriately.
Cam, so in terms of being able to kind of pull up the field in a sense, I mean, how important do you think that like builds your confidence at all in terms of being able to have consistency, the consistency that you would have?
Yeah, thanks. I'd say I've been doing an all right job, but I would like to do a little bit better. So I think there's room to improve, and I think I'm excited about how I've been doing, but I think I've been doing better at practice, so I want to keep that rolling. And it's important to flip the field, and I think it gives our offense and defense confidence when we can do that.
I missed the beginning when it just came out. So during your season last year at Columbia, did you start to think that you wanted to play elsewhere next year?
Yeah, so I kind of had this plan somewhat since freshman year when I redshirted. I knew I wanted to graduate in 3.5 years so I could come in the spring and win the job in the spring potentially. So I've kind of had this plan for a long time, not necessarily here at Georgia, but I've been thinking about it for a while.
How did you go about looking at 2, 3, 4 schools and knowing where you might go?
Yeah, so I reached out to a bunch of different schools, and some reached out to me personally, and just visited a bunch, talked with the coaches, and talked to my parents on where would be a good fit, where I thought I had the best chance to play.
Where else did you visit?
I visited Clemson right after this game, or the Georgia Tech game that I went to. I talked to Virginia Tech and South Carolina and a couple others, I think.
How hard did you pursue, major college football out of high school?
Out of high school, really, it wasn't that big of a deal for me. I wanted to get the best degree possible, and both my parents they both went to Duke, so I was kind of looking at schools like that or just really strong academic programs. And then I didn't have a ton of options out of high school, so kind of Ivy League was kind of where I wanted to go.
So then where along the way did you decide that you wanted to go into the NFL? Because you said you kind of want to get to the next level.
Yeah, so that was really never my plan, and then I had a pretty good, my redshirt sophomore season, and then I had a good season last year. And I've trained with a bunch of pro guys in Charlotte with my kicking coach. I've seen what those guys can do. I can see what I've done in the past, so that's kind of where I went from there.
Can you give a sense of what Ivy League football is like and kind of compare it to what you're dealing with here?
Yeah, so I was actually watching, so Columbia had their season opener on Saturday, and I was watching it on my laptop before our game, and it's just totally I mean, there's nobody in the stands. It's just totally different. The pace of play is a little different. I mean, I love those guys, and I hope they do a really good job, but definitely here's where my focus is, and I'm excited about the rest of the season.
4 straight night games to start the year. You guys have seen a lot of the light up Sanford, sort of become a tradition here.
Yeah.
What is that like from the players' perspective?
Well, the first time I had no idea that was going to happen. The first time I saw it, I got chills. That was one of the coolest things I've seen so far in Georgia. When the lights came on, everyone was doing the fourth quarter thing. It was really cool for me.
So you said at Columbia there was nobody in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
So after you came here and against App State came onto the field for the first time, what was kind of going through your head in that moment?
So one of my coaches told me to just take a minute and soak it in, and then kind of block it out after that, and that's kind of what I try to do. I had a little bit of experience with because I was here for G-Day, so I had a little bit of an experience with that, but it was definitely cool for the first time against App State.
Who works with you most on the coaching staff? Is it Beamer? Is it Fountain? Is it
Coach Fountain most of the time, and Coach Butler a lot too. Both of them together.
What exactly, between when you first got here to now, did they most want you to get better on?
I think the biggest thing is putting the ball as high as possible, really, to limit returns is what I've been trying to do, and that's what I'm going to try to keep doing.
Where do you experience the kind of speed differences? The long snappers bringing it back at the same amount? Does it look like the rush is roughly the same?
Yeah, you really don't get as much rush as you'd think. Teams in the Ivy League rush about the same amount. It might be a little slower, but you're not getting a ton of rush, at least so far. And the teams that we've played, and SEC really doesn't bring tons of pressure. So it hasn't been a big adjustment.
In terms of the special teams coverage and guys kind of getting back for you, how's that helped you and your
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I've got a ton of confidence because Cole and Jason Stanley are probably the two fastest guys I've ever seen. So having those guys on my punt team is absolutely huge because, even if I hit a bad punt, those guys are right down there in their face. So it's been awesome to have those guys on there.
You don't have those kind of gunners at Columbia?
No. We had a really good punt team, but it's not the same kind of athletes.
What's the difference in terms of academic difficulty between Columbia and Georgia?
It was definitely a lot harder at Columbia. I know Georgia's a great school, but it is a little bit different. I'm also taking probably a little bit easier of a program here. I did economics at Columbia, so it's just a little bit different.
That helped you out, focus on football a lot more? Or?
Yeah, definitely. But I'm still here. I'm going to finish my master's program this semester, so I'm excited about that. But yeah.
When you knew you were going to transfer as a graduate, was there a process where you were searching for a scholarship in that whole thing, or were you willing to walk on no matter what?
Yeah, a scholarship was never something that I was looking for. Ivy League, there's no scholarships, athletic scholarships, so it's not something that I've experienced in the past, so that was really never something that I was looking or searching for.
You mentioned Light Up Sanford is one of your favorite stuff from Georgia.
Yeah.
What are some other cool stuff that you've experienced so far?
I think just running out and out of the tunnel and having 93,000 people out there is something that you really just have to cherish because it's really an incredible experience.
Or you've already done Notre Dame Stadium and now you've done sold out Sanford Stadium. Is it you kind of over the all part of it now? You think?
Yeah, I don't think I was ever intimidated or anything, but I'm still going to appreciate it every time I go out there because it's an incredible experience. It's not something that anyone really gets to do. Really no one gets to do what I've experienced. So I think it's really awesome.
You know how big